Presenting you, sweet mother. Sweet mother, I never forget you. For the suffer when you suffer for me. Sweet mother, I never forget you. For the suffer when you suffer for me. When I dey cry, my mother go carry me. She go say, my pikin, wetin you dey cry, yo yo, stop, 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 make you no cry again. Oh. When I was asleep, my mother go play me. She go lie me well, well for bed. She cover me cloth, say make you sleep, 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 my pikin.
Today is Mother's Day, and we say Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers out there.
They find me something when I go job. Sweet mother.
There's no one like a mother.
Sweet mother. Sarah, my sweet when I dey sick, my mother go cry, cry, cry. She go say instead when I go die, make she die. She go beg God, God help me, God help me, my baby. Tell my mother. If I no sleep, my mother no go sleep. If I no chop, my mother no go chop. She no dey tire, sweet mother. I no go forget you suffer when you suffer for me, yeah, yeah. Sweet mother, yeah. Sweet mother. Oh, sweet mother, I will never forget you. For the suffer you suffer for me. Maybe I should forget you. Therefore, I forget my life. The air I breathe. Yeah, so. And there are you men on earth. There is not forget your mother. For if you forget your mother, you lost your life. Sweet mother, I never forget you. For the suffer when you suffer for me. Sweet mother, I never forget you. For the suffer when you suffer for me. When I dey cry, my mother go carry me. She go say, my pikin, wetin you dey cry, yeah, yeah. Stop, 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 make you no cry again. Oh, my mother, when I was asleep, my mother go beg me. She go lie me well, well for bed. She cover me close, say make you sleep, 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 my pikin. When I get hungry, my mother go run up and down. She dey find me something when I go chop. Sweet mother, hey, sweet mother. When I dey sick, my mother go cry, cry, cry. She go say instead when I go die, make she die. Oh. She go beg God, God help me, God help me, my baby. Oh.
Wherever you are as a mother, this is a special tribute to you for being a mother.
Sweet mother, I never forget you, summer when you summer for me, yeah, sweet mother, sweet mother, yes, yes, sir. Yeah, brother. But there was so much for me, and I was in that
Woo! This is from Christy Cole.
Ma, Susan, I see what I Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name. Lord, you are the most. Hallowed be thy name.
Good day, everybody in
Lord, you are the most.
Radio Land or in TV Land, or those who join us online this evening. We want to say welcome to another edition of Family Connection from Keeping in Touch. And today is Mother's Day. We want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers around the world. Sweet mother, there's nothing like a mother. We are so proud of you and we are happy. Today is a special day around the world to celebrate you. And as always, we're here every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We have two special guests today. We will be talking to. They are librarians who are contributing to technology and doing a lot here in America and trying to launch a program back in Liberia. But I got with me Ben, as always. Ben, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother Solo. And yeah, I join you to say Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers and sisters and whoever is a woman, for that matter, that is out there today. We say Happy Mother's Day to you. It is a joyous day, and it's the day to recognize the mothers that we have in our life, whether it is your biological mother or whoever that plays a motherly role in your life is equally important. So we say bravo to all of our mothers out there. May God bless you for what you are doing. And again, Solo, I look forward to having a great discussion with our wonderful guests that we have today. Back to you there.
Thank you so much. And tonight, just to let our many viewers know, those who just join us online, we are both on Facebook and YouTube. If you have a comment, drop us a comment. If you have a question, don't hesitate. Please do that by dropping us a question. Tonight we have with us Zina Mulbah, who is the CEO and founder of ZIThan. Also, we have with us Brother Emmanuel MP Khaled, who also lead marketing and sales operation manager. We'll be having a discussion with them tonight over on technology and what they are planning to do in Liberia. These are guys that are bands the world are doing a lot in their own area, in their own space. And Imara Kala is a lead in marketing and sales operation. He has over 15 years of solid experience leading marketing and distribution effort within the telecommunication industry in West Africa, including 5 years in human rights advocacy. He enjoyed traveling, spending time with family, and formulating marketing strategies. We have him tonight. And then, can you please go ahead and introduce um, our brother Zina for us so we can start this ball rolling tonight?
Definitely. It is an honor, ladies and gentlemen, our listening audience that are out there today. It's an honor indeed for me to be given this opportunity to introduce a friend and a brother that's going to be serving as one of the key note speakers today on this platform with us here. And by way of introduction, we have Zina B. Mulbah. He is the founder and CEO of ZIThan Technology, which developed web and mobile solutions for startups and small to mid-sized businesses. Zina oversees business development and customer relations with a passion and commitment to business growth by maximizing clients' value. Under his leadership, the team focuses on delivering consistent, innovative, world-class services and products. Prior to launching the business, Zina worked as a consultant, implementing IT projects for tech giants like IBM, Accenture, and AT&T. Our speaker, our guest for the day, Zina Mulbah, is passionate about youth development and programs that take innovative approaches to growing emerging leaders. He has led several summer programs or camps that provide reading, writing, and math tutorial to underprivileged kids in his community. Brothers and sisters, our listening audience out there today, both those that are on YouTube and those of you that are on Facebook, whatever way or whatever means you are being able to see us or listen to us today, I want to let you know that Zina is a very determined young man who earned his bachelor's degree in computer science from Morehouse College and has over 15 years of work in the IT sector. With this being said, I'd like to bring over the CEO of ZIThan, Zina Mulbah, on stage to begin with. Zina, how you doing there, brother?
Look, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm moving around and I'm trying to find out.
Is the ground level there with you?
Yeah, it is.
Probably there's an earthquake over there.
It is level. I feel like my background is dark, and I'm trying to make sure I can get some light in. But yeah,
Maybe probably you have to do some coding along the way there to make
I
it
think so.
right
I think
way.
so. I might have to write a micro to handle that. You're right.
Great, thank
But
you so
no,
much.
yeah. But
And to you there, brother
thanks.
Emmanuel, how you doing? Welcome, good to see you.
Well, I'm cool, my brother, and thank you so much for allowing us on your platform. I just want to say to the CEO, that's the difference. Some of us have some experience when it comes to our setting, our background, what it is, because marketing is all about. So
there you go.
So Mr. CEO, you are cool. You are cool now, and
Now
we can see you.
He's throwing his marketing. He's throwing his
thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, guys, gentlemen, welcome, and let's keep this ball rolling. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Zina.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about where are you from? What brought you to the stage or the level that you are? For people that are out there that don't know who is Zina Mulbah, besides what I've just read about you, if I was now opportune to come across that literature or that information about you, what would you say to be the type of person that you are? Who is Zina Mulbah?
Well, thanks again, Brother Ben, and Brother Fasa for having us on the platform. So who am I? Interesting question. I am a Liberian. I was born and raised partly in Liberia. Spent some time in Guinea as a refugee. Was fortunate to earn the scholarship, come over to the United States to study for college. So, as you already stated, got my bachelor's from Morehouse College in computer science, and ever since then, I've kind of worked within the IT space. I'm a family guy. I'm married with two handsome sons, 17 and a 15-year-old, and I'm very passionate about technology and how it can be used to transform our everyday lives. Outside of the technology space, I'm passionate about youth development, like you already mentioned. I played sports growing up as a young man. My sons are heavily involved in sports. As a matter of fact, they both play for their high school here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I currently reside. I'm passionate about youth development because I believe the future will be led by the youth, and it's important that we inculcate in them the values, the mental strength, the physical strength that they will need to be able to conquer anything they face later on in life, and kind of keep developing and building on whatever legacies we leave behind as their parents, right? So that's me in a nutshell. I'm very blunt and straight. People who follow me on Facebook understand how blunt I am. Sometimes I can be blunt to a fault, but I don't hide my feelings. I'm comfortable expressing my views, no matter what the setting is. And, you know, that's me. And I like to have fun. I love to have fun a lot. I love to travel.
Great.
Yeah. So, but key, critical at the core of everything in terms of what I do for me is creating a better environment today than I inherited. And part of that for me is being involved with technology. And technology, we all know, is going to drive not only now, but the future and beyond. I think I can use the technology to not only help and improve where I live today, but also help back home and kind of get things going from that perspective. That's me in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Someone once said that we are now living in the world of business and technology. You have to be business minded, and you have to be a technocrat to some extent, or have some knowledge in terms of technology to be able to advance in this world that we are living in at this particular moment. So I would say bravo to you for pursuing that career, for pursuing that dream to make a change in the life of young people that are coming up. And as you know, this program is a family-oriented program. That's why we call it Family Connection International in the first place, right? We keep in contact with family members, friends, and organizations that are to share their life-changing experiences. Now, you as a family man, tell us a little bit. What is your experience when it comes to this COVID-19, pandemic that we've been going through over the year?
It's been pretty challenging, interesting to say the least. Particularly for me is the impact it's had on the kids. And I know I can speak for kids because I see my own kids and how they've responded to it. For instance, at the onset of this pandemic, my sons, my 15-year-old son at the time, 14, was getting ready to embark upon his high school career. So he was getting ready for football, preseason training, and all of these things. Likewise, my older son was getting ready for his junior year. So he was excited. He was doing preseason workout, and boom, everything had to stop. They had to stop everything. They had to stay inside, no going outside. I mean, try to imagine teenagers who have been active out there, running around, throwing the football, doing all these physical activities, never in the house except time to sleep. And then all of a sudden now they got to be in the house. They can't go to
Yeah,
school.
definitely.
So they can hang out with their friends. So it was really difficult. But we try, like most other families, we try to deal with it. We try to work through it. And today we are at a point where it's still around, but things are loosening up a bit, and that's really a good thing. And the kids are getting back to their normal routine. Schools are opening up. Some kids are in school full time now. Some are still remote, but gradually things are opening up. So I'm excited about that, and I'm looking forward to things opening up more, so we can do more of the things we do naturally as human beings. As human beings, we are not meant to be in confined spaces. We're meant to be out exploring, doing things, and getting the blood flowing, and getting better. And I think the pandemic has really kind of shut things down, and it kind of forced us almost in a way a time in space when it was the ice age, and that's just something that I had a really serious problem with.
Hmm.
The kids dealt with it to the
Okay.
to the extent that they could, and we're at a point where things are opening up, and I'm excited. The future looks bright.
Great. And this pandemic also is an eye opener for mankind. People thought that certain things could not happen, but hey, they always say, according to history, after every 100 years, a century, for
Yeah,
every century, something of this kind happens. So it's
yeah,
always good for us to have ourselves ready and prepare ourselves, equip ourselves, so that when we encounter similar things, we'll be in a very better position. Thank you for
absolutely,
that insight. Now I
absolutely.
want to turn it. I want to switch it a little bit over to Emmanuel Kale. Brother Emmanuel, it's been a long time no see, long time no talk. Tell us a little
Definitely,
bit
my dear
about who
brother.
you are,
And
man.
I'm very happy to see you at this time, especially on this platform, where we all came from. Like Mr. Mulbah said, we all came from Liberia, and then, of course, went to a refugee camp. All of us sat for the same test and stuff that brought Zina Mulbah to America. And today, all of us are here. And because some of us believe in making things happen, we had no option but to follow our dreams and aspiration. And that was getting into what would create people. That's why some of us became talent manager, we became administrator, a marketer, and now we are online doing a whole lot of stuff. So every time there is a change and we go along with the change, we had a conventional way of marketing, and now we are doing a whole new brand of kind of marketing. That's why even those who were super professional when it comes to marketing are still learning today, because today we are doing it technologically. So at the end of the day, all of the stuff we do, we have to learn new thing every day. We have to try to follow what is going on. There's a new way of selling what you want to sell. There's a new way of telling your own stories. There's a new way you can sell what you love. You can live from what you love better than going to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to work to this place, or I'm going to work for this person. People are encouraged to build their dreams. People are encouraged to create their own stuff. And I believe in making things happen. And my own way of doing it is, I believe that everything that one man does, another man can do. And I believe that if we do it together, we can do it the best way we can. But everything is possible. Everything is in our hands. We are just left with the time, the effort, the passion, the willingness to put it in. Because that's why some of us sit on our back every time, making sure we create something, making sure we come up with something at the end of the day that will benefit people. So when Mr. Mulbah came to me with this idea of what is going to happen, what he has been dreaming of, what he has been working on, I embraced it right away, and we started to work right from there. And today we are at a stage where we can say, okay, it's time for Liberians to embrace it as well.
Wonderful. What a
Yeah.
great passion you guys have. And I can
Thank
I
you.
can remember, as you guys made reference to being a refugee. I remember back then when we were all in Gigedo.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
yeah.
see that
right.
time you guys were the senior brothers. Our seniors, and we will always pay that respect to the seniors.
Yes,
Thank
sir,
you.
that's
Thank you, my
right.
brother.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so it's really an honor to have you guys on this
Yeah.
platform. Well, I
Yeah,
would like
Yeah.
to
Same.
turn the floor over a little bit to my colleague who is with me on this platform. That's Mr. Paulo Solomon Fasa. Brother Solo, are you there?
I'm here, Ben. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Let's look at this company, ZIThan, Zina. What
yes,
is ZIThan all about? Tell us.
right. So ZIThan is a technology startup. I launched it in 2019, so fairly brand new. But the ZIThan is all about taking advantage of technology from a web and mobile standpoint. Again, as I was saying, when I look at technology at where it is today, and I try to imagine it 10, 20, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, you have to accept the reality that 10, 20 years from now, mobile devices will be the probably the predominant way with of how people interact with different technologies, as opposed to 10 years back when it was only on a desktop, on a laptop. Nowadays, everything is done on the cell phones and on iPads, on different mobile devices. So for me, the passion has always been tapping into that space and seeing how else I can position myself and the people I care about to create uh, uh, a system that will allow us to thrive and do well within that technology space. So ZIThan is the gateway to that endeavor. ZIThan gives me the ability to think about ideas from a web and mobile standpoint, and then see what I need to do to bring those ideas to life. ZIThan gives me the framework from a business standpoint to be able to operate from an expenditure standpoint, from an investment standpoint, all of these things. And then from an idea standpoint, bring all of that together in one space, or channel all of that through one umbrella. And that umbrella is ZIThan Technologies. That's my
Absolutely.
focus. Yes.
Absolutely. I see on your website you do web development, hosting, content creation, and
That's right.
you talk about mobile app development. Can you,
Sure.
because I know I talked to a couple of colleagues before coming to this program who have interest in building website. Maybe on what level do you do this web development? Is it small businesses or corporate level? What is it?
Great question. So right now, I'm operating on a small business level. So sole proprietors, S corps, and that kind of stuff. I haven't done. I hope I can. Hopefully, after being on this program, people can hear me enough and start to give me some big gigs with some of the bigger firms, right, through your connects. But yeah, I haven't done anything big yet, or anything big with the Fortune 500 companies. But that's the goal, right? The goal is to build a team, because now I have the framework business-wise to build a team and to well, first of all, sell work, which I'm working every day to do, sell work. So, and then once I get the work, or I see I'm on the verge of getting to build a team that can fulfill that work, right? So I do everything as it says. We can build custom sites. So we write code from start to end, custom code completely to build your website, or we can use existing templates out there, right? So we don't reinvent the wheel. It all depends on how much what the budget is for your project. So if you want totally custom site, we can build that. If you want something that utilizes templates already existing, we can do that as well. But we can work. At the end of the day, the technology, from a technology of a skill, from a competency standpoint, we have the competencies. We just need to sell work now to be able to get the kind of contracts we need from small businesses, big businesses, individuals, and all of that good stuff.
So I'm a small business owner, and I come
Right.
to you, and I tell you I need a website. In the first
Right.
place, I just want to put my business on a website. What do I need to do? Because it's just like, because the whole world now is like everything should be out there that people should be able to locate you.
Right.
But
Right.
what's the first step? What do I need to do in the first place?
So if you come to me with that, and you tell me, hey, I need a site, I got a business. So the first thing I'll tell you is, what kind of business do you have? I try to understand your business, and then I will try to understand, what do you do? Are you selling product? Will you be selling product on the website? So is it an online store, or are you? It's just like a blog, or where you just housing content, or and actually interacting with people, or it's so I'll try to understand the nature of the business you do, and what kind of site are you trying to build. Then I will propose the different options: a customized option, totally customized option, or a non so customized option. And I can tell you what that means cost wise, how long that takes, and all of that. But for me, the first thing is understanding your line of business and what you're trying to achieve with this website.
So to even go further, if they have that website, you also help them to host your website, because that
Exactly.
website
Yes.
require hosting, which is
Yes, sir.
also the next thing to do. You could
And
develop the website, and the person will have to decide who to take it to the host, but you also do everything.
Exactly. So yeah, and interesting you said that, because one of the things that I was looking at when I was before I launched ZIThan, as I was going through all of the thinking for it, I wanted it to be a one-stop shop. I wanted us to be able to build sites, but not build them and send them off. I wanted to build them and host them, and then continue to provide maintenance for that site. Because from a business standpoint, it makes sense, right? I can take $1,000 from you today and build a site, but then that's it, right? You're going off to somebody else to host it. But if I keep that site on my platform, I host it, and then I work in a contract with you where I'm responsible for your basic maintenance, and then for your enhancements, we talk about pricing on that. Then from a business standpoint, that's better for me because I'm also getting continuous money going forward, right? So the concept of a one-stop shop made sense to me, and that kind of also allowed me to venture into the whole mobile development or mobile app route, because I also wanted not just to be a web development outfit. I wanted to cover everything digitally, right? Mobile devices again would be the primary way for how people interact with technology going forward. Period. So for me, incorporating a mobile delivery option made sense too. So yeah, that's kind of the whole thinking behind ZIThan Technologies.
Great. If you're out there and following us, you have a question, drop us a question. You have a comment, don't hesitate. Which bring me to mobile development. And you, by the way, mobile development, we got to make it simple, maybe for many of our followers who are maybe won't understand exactly. It's like, it's an app. Maybe you go to a Play Store. I'm not a technology guy. Maybe you go to a Play Store, you need an app, you can download that app and be able to have access to whatever that app offer. Am I correct?
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
So
Yes.
which lead me to your next vision, where you talk about you have developed one of those apps you want to use in Liberia, called Yerba Liberia. Do you care to tell us about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I was in Liberia for the last 2 or 3 trips I made to Liberia. I realized when I was there, because I didn't have my own personal car, private car, I was always I found myself having to rent a car because I didn't want to engage in the regular traffic, so taxi and all of that stuff. So I found myself having to rent a car, and I realized it was very expensive renting a car. I was I was paying. I know the first time I was there with my family, I was paying around $60 a day for a car, and I had a car for 3 weeks. That's a lot of money. Then the second time I was there, just last December, burying my dad, I was there for almost a month, and I was paying about $50 a day for a rental car. So I realized that was just, it's not sustainable for a guy like me. It's too much money. So I kept thinking, what other options can we, if what other options could I have used if that option was present? And then it dawned on me, boom, Uber, Lyft, ride sharing dawned on me, and I said, this can work. But the only challenge I had was to establish that the GPS technology was effective in Liberia. So December, when I was there last December to bury my dad, I spent after the burial and everything, sent him home. I spent some time just exploring the technology around GPS, making sure the GPS technology was solid and it could be effective in Liberia. And once I was able to establish that the technology was solid, for me, it was a goal. I already knew I was going to do a ride-sharing app because it just made sense to me. Because with a ride-sharing app, you get the benefit of having somewhat a nice car, right? Or riding in a nice car, like a rental car with a professional driver, but then you don't have the exorbitant cost that comes with a rental car, right? So that to me made sense. It's like we can find a balance between a rental car and a regular taxi cab, right? And so that in between is what I shot for, and that's what Yuba is all about. So for those of us here in the US, we already know what Uber is or what Lyft is. It's a very similar concept. It's ride sharing. Obviously, the challenges with car ownership back home poses a problem. So my strategy or our strategy in terms of how we go to market is a little different. But the general concept is that we will have cars that people can request from the app, and the driver will respond to your request, comes to your place, wherever you are, pick you up, and take you to where you want to go. And we do that all in the app. You don't have to tell the driver, you don't have to give him directions, you don't have to ask him how long it would take you, like traditional car booking services. Oh, you got to call 3 hours early, and then they will tell you, okay, 45 minutes, let us find a car to dispatch, all of that stuff. No, we took that out. This is real time. When you're ready, you're dressed up, you're ready to go. I stay in rehab and I'm ready to go in town. I'm dressed right now. Boom, I go to my app, plug in. I want to go to Camp Johnson Road, plug in Camp Johnson Road, and then search, and then book and then search. If there's a ride in my area, I can book it and just wait. Within a matter of seconds, the driver responds, and it tells me how long it's going to take for the driver to get to me. So I know real time, I can see the driver coming because the map we're using, right? We have a map that both the driver and the rider sees. So everybody is seeing things real time, right? The driver comes to you, you know how long it's going to take. And because we're operating in an environment where some of the road networks may not be that first class, right? We have inbuilt capabilities where, let's say, you're in your house and the car cannot really reach to your house, but the car is just a few feet away from your house. Well, when the driver gets there, he can call you from the phone. I mean from the app. He just pushes a button and he can call you and say, "Hey, I'm here. Where are you?" And then, okay, you can meet him. Okay, I'm here. Here I come. Or if he doesn't want to call, he can text you. All of that can be done in the app from the push of a button. So we got these building capabilities to account for the environment in which we're operating. So that's ZIThan in a nutshell.
This is fantastic for our people in Liberia because it's great. And my concern is, how far would it cover? Would it only be Monrovia or the entire Liberia you're talking about? Maybe I can be in Kakata, maybe make use of this, can be Habel, make use of it, or maybe out of Atlanta. So I don't know. What's the cover, and what does it require? Do I have to maybe have a US account where I have to have a card that I put through this app? How do our people use this process?
Excellent question. One of the significance or the greatness I think I like to say about this technology and the app itself is that it works anywhere as long as there is two things: as long as there is a good internet connection, and as long as there is the user or the users have a smartphone. Those are the two basic conditions. And as Liberia continues to grow and grow in terms of cellular network, and as more and more people come on the smartphone platform, start to use smartphones, this possibility or this app, if you look at it within the space of 10 years, will be really huge, because as more people get on the smartphones and cellular technology gets even better and it's accessible easily in places like Vonjama, Sanikole, Yekepa, Ganta, all those places. All it takes is that we either have a Uber car that we've bought and put on the platform in each of those cities, and have full-time drivers there, or somebody in those cities has a private car, their own personal car, and they've signed up as a Uber driver. We call them independent business partners, IBPs. But in other words, the easiest way to understand what they are is that they are basically somebody who has a car in Sanikole decides to sign up as a Uber driver. So they install the app, register as a driver, put in their car information, put their driver license information. We confirm it, we approve them, and now we have a driver. We have a driver in Sanikole. So if you are in Sanikole and you want to travel around or move around in Sanikole, you have the app installed, you fire it up, you get a driver right there. So as time goes on, you can see how this technology will take over Liberia. It will be not only Monrovia, but all those big cities within the country. But of course, our focus right now is Monrovia. Once we can grow the concept and people understand what it is in Monrovia and kind of buy into it and start participating on the platform, it's going to give us an ability to, even if we don't have people with their own car signing up in Sanikore, Bikana, Vonjama, and all those other places, Foya, whatever, we can invest in our own cars. We can purchase 4 or 5 cars and put it in each big city. And boom, we have coverage in all those places. So it makes movement around very easy and very comfortable for our Liberian people and people visiting Liberia.
Fantastic. This is quite interesting for our people. So currently, I think I got my colleague. I would like to go over the bank. But before I go over the bank, currently, do you have card in your own system, maybe cards you bought that you're starting off with, or you got people who sign up to be part of this program? What are you doing currently?
Another great question. So, we had a virtual launch, a Facebook launch on April 3rd, and up to date, we have two persons who have signed up as drivers. So we have 2 drivers signed up. We've completed 1 ride successfully, so that's good. And we're having the official Liberia launch in June. We're looking at June the 12th. God willing, we will be launching officially in Liberia, Monrovia, June the 12th. And then on that launch, the goal is to have 2 or 3 cars on the platform, out cars that I'm going to take and put on the platform in Liberia. So we will have so if no other driver signs up from now till June the 12th, then you can rest assured after June the 12th, we will have at least 5 cars. So 2 independent partners and then 3 Yiba cars on the platform with full-time drivers. And those will be full-time on the platform, not running any regular traffic, just on the platform responding to Yiba requests, Yiba ride requests.
Great. I know I'd like to go out of Ben, but there's a lot to talk about tonight. And I just got a lot of things coming to my mind because the issue of internet in Liberia, people got phone, they're complaining for data, these kind of challenges. I don't know whether you took all this into consideration.
Yeah. So I did. So it's one of those things where so I did take all of this into consideration. But then I asked myself, the state of technology today, the state of access to internet, access to data today in Liberia will not remain the same 5 years, 10 years, or even 5 years from now. If you think about it, 5 years ago, the number of Liberians that were using smartphones is not the same number that's using smartphones today. That number has significantly increased. And if you even go back 10 years ago, that number today has probably dwarfed what it was what it was 10 years back. So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at it from a 5 to 10 year time frame, right? I'm saying, where will we be 5 to 10 years from now? It's not so much for today, but it's for the future, right? So if we position ourselves now and start to socialize the technology with the people and have them understand what it is, and then tap into the few that are able to pay for data and use. A lot of them are on Facebook, posting pictures, posting videos, doing stuff. So if you're doing that, then you can probably request a ride. It's probably going to take far less data to request a ride because you're not really running videos or streaming, none of that stuff. So you can probably do that for 5-10 minutes and complete your ride. So we're looking at that and saying, yes, there are challenges. Obviously, there's always going to be challenges, particularly in places like Liberia and other parts of Africa. But you have to look at what the trajectory is. And when I look at the trajectory, going back 10 years to where we are now, and maybe 10 years from now, it's looking really good. We are on a glide path. We are on our path to where it can only get better, technology-wise, network access-wise, smartphone access-wise, and all of that stuff. So that makes it very, very reasonable to engage in this activity now than waiting 10 years from now, when you might have already lost a huge chunk of the market because you probably waited too long.
Can I agree with you better? That's a great idea. I think you are looking at a long-term plan. I just like to go with Ben because I got a lot to talk. Ben.
Yeah.
I got Ben. Ben, take it from here, or else I just keep talking with Zina because this is what I love it because how frustrated you get to this point. There are people who got all these ideas from here and they are sitting here and don't want to go back home because certain situation. But Zina is taking the challenge. He's one person who's going back. He have gotten all the education here, and he got all these ideas. He could sit here, maybe work with Fortune 500, or maybe even develop this somewhere else, or maybe go to some other country and even be effective and make some money. When he talked to go right to Liberia. Oh, Ben, go ahead, Ben.
I feel, brother, definitely it's a very great discussion, and from what has been going on and the different points and angles that have been brought into this discussion, they are very, very eye-opening. And me being a Liberian, as you rightly stated earlier, I mean, it just makes me feel so happy to have a fellow Liberian like Zina having that type of mindset to help develop our Liberia to a stage where people will say, yes, we are proud of Liberians that are living in the diaspora, because they're not just living in the diaspora, but they're thinking about developing the country back home as well. Thank you so much for that, Zina. And now
Thank
I
you.
want to
Thank you.
turn the floor a little bit over to Brother Emmanuel Kale. Brother Emmanuel, you being the marketing director, having that vast knowledge in marketing, how is it working with you in terms of implementing this ZIThan in Liberia? What are some of the plans that you have in motion?
All right. Thank you very much, Ben. And are you getting me?
Yes,
Yep.
I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, Mr. Mulbah has just struck the points on the technology part of it. And now is the marketing part, which is another difficult aspect of it. And this is where Liberians need to understand that the developed world today is the reverse. When things come up, people rush to try them. In our country and where we come from, or that region, people want to be the last to try them. But in this business, if you are always the last, you are always a loser. Imagine when Facebook was about to start up. Imagine those who went to Facebook, those who invested in Facebook. Who are they today? They are the richest people around the world today. Imagine Zoom that is on. Just recently, Zoom came out because of this pandemic. How many of those people who actually invested in Zoom, they are making money today on a daily basis for just $100 that they invested or something? So it's not time to sit back. Now, we as marketers will only look for people who create or find a solution. If you identify a problem and you find a solution, marketers are very happy, because that way we can be able to get to our people and say, look, this is a solution to your problem. Now, all of us know that transportation in Liberia is a difficult thing. And at a certain point in time, all of us are fighting to go to work. All of us are fighting to go to school, to go somewhere else at the same time. But this is going to make it convenient for you. Where you're going to stay where you are, even if you are late, maybe a few minutes, you can take that time dressing up, and then while your ride is coming to you. So Liberians need to try this thing, especially for the drivers, those who have their own private cars. It's about time that you test. It's about time that you start testing your own money, your own opportunity. Opportunity comes but once, like a single said. Or singer said. Now, all of us need to try to test this thing, because if we test it at the end of the day, who knows what comes out? At the end of the day, it becomes something that you live in this country and other parts of the world. People live on share ride. Those drivers live on it. I mean, that's their regular job. That's something they live on. That's something they use to feed their family, to pay their rent, to do every other thing. And this is the kind of idea we're trying to bring to Liberia. We expect a lot of Liberians, especially those with cars, those car owners, to at least jump on this, try this and see. Now, the only thing you get to do, first of all, is just to download the app. That's a major thing. You just download it. That's how simple it is. Like you download all sort of apps on your phone just because you want to have fun. We're talking about you downloading an app that's going to give you money. We're talking about, now, most of us are crying for job. There's another way of us getting into a system where we can provide our own job at our own time pace. That's the most important thing. Those things don't happen in our country where you have a job where you sit home or you do your job anytime you want to do your job, but you have to go to work where someone have to manage you. Someone have to tell you, do this or do that. That's what you're going to be doing throughout the day. I mean, for the 8 or for the 10 hours we are away from home, we are under the instruction of somebody. This is where you have, now the world is going differently. Because of technology, I've been working from home now for the past 9 to 10 months.
Yeah.
Now, why am I working from home? I'm sitting right in my house, and I do what I need to do online, and I make money from it more than when I was going to work for someone, more than when I was working for the richest company in the world. But why? It's because the technology have given me that power. The technology have given me that opportunity. There are lots of opportunity that people need to take advantage of. And this is something this is just the beginning for Liberia. You're going to see a whole lot of different things coming up, but Liberians need to have that hunger spirit for investment. Liberians need to have that hunger spirit for getting into businesses that they will see ahead of them that something is going to happen in the future. I know all of us want something to happen now. So because we want it to happen now, we only look for exchange. Oh, you got $1? Yeah, I got $2. Give me $1 and take the $2. That's it. That's the kind of business we want. But that's the reason why we are where we are. The difference between us and the people here is because those people actually what we are into, they saw that long time. So most of them are living off of what we are still struggling. Those people are relaxed because they've already seen this before, and they acted upon the opportunity at the time. It's time for Liberians to sign up with YIBA. It's time for Liberians to try it. If you own a car, try it now. I know you will say Emmanuel is doing marketing, but hey, but marketing is beneficial to you because we'll find your solution. And that's the reason why we keep talking. So now, like you said, in terms of strategy, like Mr. Mulbah said, we're going to be launching this in June. That is physically in Liberia. And right after that, we'll have some way to start getting other vehicles on board. But it's not, drivers shouldn't be waiting for that time because you should be testing it now, try to get used to what is happening. How is it working? What are the constraints? We need to know all of those things so that at the end of the day, we work in line with you. Then, of course, yeah, we're going to be on track.
Great. You know, living in America, some of us have done all kinds of different jobs to survive.
Yeah.
And one of them could be being an Uber driver or a Lyft driver. Now, if I live in Liberia, for example, and have my own car in Liberia, and I'm interested in this program, what are some of the incentives you would tell me that I would get in joining or being a YIBA driver in Liberia? What would you say in that?
Well, first of all, like I said from the very beginning, you're going to earn money. It's not stories you're going to earn. You're going to earn money. And in the process of earning money, it's only because you chose to use your car to take someone to another location at that moment. Now you can be going to school and you can still take someone because the moment you drop them off, you're off to school. No one's going to ask you in the evening time, where's your report? No one's going to ask you the next day, look, why you did not work yesterday or why you worked for 4 hours yesterday. But mind you, again, you're going to be still making more money than those who are working daily on it. Those who are working for people where they have to go and pick and pack up in a parking station and collect a whole lot of people and move on. You're going to make more money than them because at the end of the day, probably you make just few rides and you will have the report that the other person will take 2 or 3 days to have. That's the advantage. And that's the reason why it's good. That's the reason why we should test it. That's the reason why we should be a part of it. Because at a certain point in time, when things are in, I know Liberians or people even in Africa, West Africa, most of us like to see things happen. Look, seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing have seen a lot of people at the back. And those who went there seeing further have been at the front because you have to look at what is happening or what is going to happen. Like Mulbah said, okay, in the future, there are going to be a lot of things that are going to be happening. We're going to improve in a lot of technology. There are a lot of things going to be in our space. A lot of stuff will be introduced to Liberia or Liberians. And it's a time for us to take advantage of those opportunities.
Great. So, Brother Emmanuel, Liberia is a third world country and has a lot of challenges. To talk about some of the challenges, we talk about things like insurance. Cars that are doing transportation needs to be insured. What is it that YIBA is doing to help protect the passengers that get on board any of those cars that are running this business along with YIBA? What are some of the mechanisms that you have in place for safety purposes?
Well, first of all, before you sign out, you have to prove to YIBA that you're a driver, first of all. And that comes from your driver license. And then, of course, registration of the vehicle that you're using, whether it's a transportational vehicle or it's something you're using privately, you will have to register it with government because you won't want to be moving with passenger and then police, ask you to show some document you cannot show and the passenger is left in the middle. The passenger is not going to call Emmanuel. The passenger is going to be talking about YIBA. The passenger is going to, these YIBA people have already, in fact, we are in a situation where we should even be more careful because this is the time Liberians or people who are trying to take advantage of it are looking for faults. People will not be looking. That's one of the culture we have that we need to change. People will not be looking for the positive side of this. People will be looking for the faulty side of it. So that at the end of the day, when they see that, that gave them the chance to stay away. Like one of my coaches said, if you are stuck now at a particular position and you find out you cannot move, the actual reason why you cannot move is because of you. It's because you refuse to move.
Yeah.
Because if you want to move, you'll find all the avenue to move. But you got stuck because your attention has been on difficulties. All of those things that will make you fail are the one your attention has been on. So at the end of the day, you fail because that's what you've been driving to. Put your mindset to where things are positive. Put your mindset to where things are going to work for you positively. And definitely you're going to approach it that way and you're going to get it. If I tell some of my friends today I sit home and get my own income from home, some of them don't believe it because first of all, they don't believe that I exist. But hey, I just need you to show me one person who went to the moon. And if I want to go to the moon, I will go to the moon. Because that person is human and they try their own way, their own mindset to get to where they are. So why you think I can't do the same? I can do the same, but I need to be persistent. I need to be consistently mindset to what I want to do. I need to have that mindset to drive on what I want to do. Other than that, I won't. But in Liberia, like we said, in terms of the security, yes. Before you be a part of YIBA, obviously you need to be a driver. And the only way we identify driver is by your license. And other than that, also your vehicle got to be plying the street legally. And the only way we do that also by your registration. So once you get it once done, definitely you're going to be on shore and riding with us.
Great. What a great program. What a great step that you guys have taken. And all that we can say is we wish the best out of this program, and we hope a lot of people will join this program because it's really, really encouraging to have young Liberians like you living in the diaspora and having this desire to help develop Liberia, even though you are far away. My colleague Solomon has a follow-up question. Solo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Emmanuel,
Yes, sir.
You the marketing guy. This is a business. This is an investment. Are you selling share in Yuba, maybe a Liberian city in the US? I know this is a long-term investment. Maybe
Definitely.
is there any way that you guys are selling shares, or maybe somebody want to partner into this business? Is there anything you guys
Definitely. And that's the reason why I started by saying a lot of Liberians like to wait for things to happen before they be a part of it. Because now you can join us by buying share. We have it already set up. You just need to get to us, and when you get to us, definitely we have our Facebook page, also the YIBA Liberia Facebook page. You can get there. You can contact me. You can contact me, some Mulbah, and we're going to drive you through the process of getting a share, and we'll move forward. We want a lot of Liberians and other people to join us and because the more shares we have, the more we see people coming into it, the more we develop this, the more we're going to make it better for our people, the more we're going to make the solution even more easier for them.
Okay, Emmanuel. Walk us through this thing, because I have an app. You go to the Apple Store, you type in Yuba Liberia, you'll see what is there? Yeah, something blue or some other. Is that gold? I don't know color.
Yeah, it's not gold, but it's 1 second.
Yeah,
let me see if I can drive you.
Or maybe you got Apple. You go to Apple Store. You got Play Store.
Yeah.
With somebody who in Liberia.
So now now it's working with. Yeah, so now it's working with both. You can use it on the Android phone and of course the Apple phone. So you can get it from the Apple Store, you can get it from the Play Store. Whatsoever gadget you are using, the only thing you need to do is to go to that Apple Store or the Play Store, and then of course try to find YIBA Liberia. You're gonna see it in a round orange, blue, and white stuff, and you're gonna download it. Just as you download Facebook app. The first time you're about to use Facebook, you go and find an app, right? And you download it. Just as you're about to download YouTube app, you want to use YouTube, you go and find it. Just as you're about you download any of the apps from your store or your app store. Most of us have that knowledge. Most of us have that education, and thanks to the telephone companies, because they have educated us in how to use those gadgets. So it's not really a difficult application. But you go there and download it. Feed in the different questions that will be giving you, answer them properly, get into it. If you want to be a rider or a driver, you select which one you want to be, or you want to do both. It's up to you. And then of course, you get into the system, and right from there you can start searching for drivers. If you are a driver, if you are a rider, or if you are a driver, definitely within the area, the system start to look around for passenger or those who are interested in picking up a ride. And when you get that, you're definitely going to be alerted about it. And right from there, you take your ride.
Okay, Mario, you're talking too fast. This is Liberia. We just introducing this thing. Let's take it slow, right?
Okay.
Take people through the process. You're not talking to somebody who is in the West. You're talking to Liberia. I know they know about app. But for your app, tell me if I want to be a rider because the driver will have to meet certain requirements. Explain this process to the people. Yeah.
So
let the people know exactly what we're talking about.
I'm using
quite interesting. I wish I was in Liberia. I would download it tonight.
I know. So I'm using Apple 12 Plus. That's not what most people are using. But this, you see it like any other phone where you have all of your apps. All of these blocks things that you're seeing here are different things that we have on the phone, and we use them for different services. So we have different stuff that they're from different companies. They serve us differently. They give us different joy. They give us different level of entertainment. And also for those of us that are here or in other parts, of course, we use it for other things as well. But let's say back home, most of us use it for our activities that we have. Now we are using it for business back home as well. So people are going online, trying to make sure they do what they can, but you will get your apps right here. So now, because this is not an Android phone, this is an Apple. So I go to my app store, and the app is the one in the A here, if you can see clear. And then the Android phone is going to tell you about the Play Store. So it is where actually you are going to seek what you are looking for. So the moment you hit this, it's going to read and then later on show you things. So for example, like now it's showing me they have a whole lot of advertisement on it this time because there are money everywhere for these kind of businesses. So they will advertise a lot of things, but that's not what we are looking for. So in this box, you will type in your Yiba Liberia, and then when you type in Yiba Liberia, let me see if I can do that.
Let me interject a little bit. Please spell out Yiba Liberia. Saying Yiba. People, you got to be clear.
Yeah, it's YEEBAH and then dash Liberia.
Okay.
So let me see. Okay, so now, in fact, as soon as you start typing, you will. Where am I? As soon as you start typing, you will see it. So now you see it just pop up here in writing first, and then I'm going to try to see if I can find the app itself. Now the app is there clear. You can see it.
Yep.
From here. So if you're using iPhone, this is what you're going to do. This is the process. Even if you are using the Android phone, it's the same process, but you're going through the Play Store, and it's going to show you it like this. And then of course, you're going to hit here, and it's going to take its time and read based on your network and download the app.
So
and obviously,
yeah, thank you. If I'm living from the States, going to Liberia, I don't want my family to know. Maybe how can I make that arrangement? Maybe for a Uber car to pick me up from the airport and just arrive at the door with my family and just knock like somebody just coming from across the road. How possible is that?
Well, it depends on what you want to do, because I know here, if you don't want your family to know and you want to go to probably like Washington DC, you can stay here and still do your stuff, and you can arrange it. So it's similar thing, but the thing is, if you get on the ground, it's much easier, because when you get for example, I've already downloaded the app here, but the system is going to be running through my environment. And so if you get to, except if you have a friend, if you don't want a relative, but what I'm trying to say is you will not stay here and try to, except Mr. Mulbah is thinking of something like that. But other than that, you have to be on the ground. So let's say about it for the airport. The moment you get to the airport, of course, you can call your ride right away. And you're definitely going to be on a Yiba ride from the airport to Monrovia.
Great. Ben, there are a couple of comments, man. Can you look at the comments to see if maybe the CEO can look at them, Zina, and whatever?
Definitely, we'll come to this comment and then we'll give the time. Just to give you guys a notice, one, is it okay if we can go over a little bit of the time, like for maybe 15 or 25 minutes after the 1 hour blog that we have?
Is our interest, no problem.
I'm fine. You can have me for another hour. I'm good.
No problem.
I got all the time. This is
all right.
I got all
Great.
the time.
We run this program for 1 hour, so if we have to go over the 1 hour benchmark, we definitely need to seek your permission before we can go over that. But as you can tell from the discussion, the topic is very interesting, and I know that it's going to make a very huge impact in the life of so many people that will listen to this eventually. Now, a question that I had, which Emmanuel already talked about a little bit, was being able to kind of book they service it at a distance. If I'm in the United States and I have my
Yes.
relative in Liberia, I'm
Yes.
I'm trying to make an arrangement for the person. Maybe the person does not have the financial means, but I'm here and I want them to be transported from wherever they are to another location. If it was possible to make that arrangement remotely from my location, but it appears to me that that is not possible. Is that something that you can comment on, Mr. Zina?
Yeah.
Mulbah?
Right. Right. Absolutely. So that's a very great question. So it is possible to an extent. So from a let me take a step back. The current version of the app that we have available in App Store and Play Store,
Mhm.
those versions are 100% cash based, right? So what I mean is the way the driver gets paid, or the way the rider pays the driver is through a cash transaction. So you
Okay.
get the rider takes you where you I mean the driver takes you where you're going, then you pay him in cash. Now the next release or iteration is going to incorporate credit card, debit card payments, and hopefully mobile pay. So then that cash piece will be just one option now, because now you can use your credit card or your mobile pay to make payments. So today, if you wanted to transport your relative from one point in Liberia to another point, you can do it. The only challenge is that that relative will have to have some cash on them to make the payments. But you can go in the app today. Let's say you have a relative staying in somewhere in Jalatan, right? You
Mhm.
can if you know the exact location or some landmark in Jalatan that is staying at, you can pass that
You can schedule the
landmark.
location.
You can pass that landmark in your starting location field in the app,
Okay.
and then you can put it. So you want to pick them up from Jalatan to 12th Street Sinker, right? And then in your drop off location, you can put in 12th Street Sinker from here, and it will search for drivers in that space. And there's a driver there. You can go ahead and book it and initiate the ride, and then tell your relative, hey, there's a car coming to pick you up and take you to 12th Street. But the only challenge that we have today is that that relative will have to have some kind of some kind of cash on them. Or what you could do here is you can send, because we know how much the ride costs, right? You can still send the ride, and your relative will be taken to where they need to go, and then you here in America can make a mobile payment to the driver. But in that case, you will have to get in touch with us so that you know the driver details and stuff, right? So that
Great.
we can give you the driver's phone number. And because I don't think trying to initiate a phone conversation from here with the driver, it will work, because I don't think it will work, because you're not on the same. If you're in Liberia, yes, it will work. That would be easy. But from here, you have to let us know. Hey, I want to send I want to initiate a ride, but I need to make the payment here in the U.S. Then that way I can tell you, hey, once you initiate the ride, you let me know who the driver is, and then I can give you their phone number, or even contact them for their mobile phone, mobile money account details, and then you can send them. You can pay them through that. At the end of the day, as long as the driver gets paid, we're fine, because from a record keeping standpoint, we know I can see in the dashboard how much the ride was, when the ride occurred, and what did the ride got fulfilled. So we know that we have that. And so once you can make the payment, maybe the next day even, it's fine. So it's possible still. It's just a little bit. It's a few manual steps involved, if you will. But you
Great.
can still in Liberia here and still move people around in Monrovia with Yiba. Absolutely.
Oh,
I
Ben, so
must say that is very, very encouraging. Because if I
Yeah.
have a relative, for those of us that live in the diaspora and we have family members back home in Liberia, and I have a relative, and we're talking about some of the challenges, wherein maybe my relative doesn't even have a smartphone to be able to
Right.
download
Right.
this app. But I have a
Absolutely.
smartphone living in the West, and I
Yes.
can program the transportation for the person or schedule the transportation for the person and let
Right.
them know, and I can even make the payment or get them ready with the payment in their hand,
Yes.
so when the
Yeah.
driver gets there they can pay the driver.
Yeah.
So that is
So
fabulous, and it's really, really an eye opener. That is
yeah.
bravo to you guys, man.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
you
Thank
wanted to
you.
say something?
Yeah, I just want to interject. Zina,
Yes.
you talk about cash. The route currently is cash. What is it
Right.
like? You will you pay a cash before you board it, the cab, or the cab gonna reach you to the point before you pay? Because I know Liberia, somebody
Yeah.
will call a ride sharing, go on board the car, get there, and they get out and they run away. It's possible.
Right. So yeah, yeah.
That's not America.
Absolutely. So I thought about that, and what we've decided to do is to go in with the assumption that Liberians will be responsible. We've decided that because again, when the rider requests a ride, we know the rider, we know who they are, we know their name, we know their phone number. So we've decided we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that they will be responsible. So we're telling the drivers, when you pick them up, you drive them up, you drop them off, then you ask for payment. If we get an instance where somebody is running off, then we might reverse that strategy. Then we will enforce payment before you leave with the passenger. But as of now, we are going in with the assumption that Liberians will be responsible and will not behave irresponsibly. Only because
And
we
and
know
ju-
them.
And just to add up to what he's saying, is that actually a master plan? It's not what we're going to stick to. I mean, this is how we've launched it because we need to move forward. But we are actually working on other plans that's going to make it very easy, especially with the card system. And we're going to work with other businesses as well to make that card system very easy. Because at the end of the day, we need a security from both ends. We need people to trust the system. And in order to trust the system, in order to build that security, of course, on both sides, we should have it. Just as we'll have the security for the passenger with regards to the information we gather from the driver, we should also, one way or the other, be able to get the information for the passenger through the card or payment structure that the passenger is going to use. So we're going to be working on that. We are working on that also. And at the end of the day, we're going to get everything. That's why you see we are appealing to Liberians, especially drivers, to try this thing, to get into it, to sign up. And then, of course, passengers try to start making use of it. And let's work together and see how we work it out. Because at the end of the day, you're going to benefit. That's a solution to some of the troubles that we have most of the time when it comes to transportation.
So Zina, why can't you introduce a mobile money system? Because cash to travel cash is a risk. It's a risk
Yeah.
for the
So
passenger.
Yeah.
It's a risk for the driver. Because
yes.
if he keep collecting a lot of cash and he got cash on him in a car,
Yeah. So we don't
what's the safety?
want to
So
kind of let the cat out,
so
but we're working
so
on that. Yeah, go ahead.
so 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 uh uh Mr. Fasa, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
So the mobile money option is a very viable option. So so we're operating from a uh, from a standpoint of what we call in startup and even software development, from a lean strategy standpoint. And the lean strategy, right? Lean startup or lean software delivery, basically what it does is we take what we call a minimum viable product. So we take the very um, basic product that is still useful but does not take a lot of investment from our standpoint. So financially, time wise, just sweat equity wise, it does not take a whole lot out of us, right? So we create that viable product and we put it out there, right? We go to market with it and we see how the public respond to it. If we're getting the kind of response that's encouraging, then we do more investment in it. Then we come in with payments through credit cards or debit cards and payments through mobile pay and all that stuff, right? But when you venture into these kinds of businesses, you have to make sure your basic premise that people will partake in this activity is validated at the back end before you take further step. Because if you do too much upfront investment and it doesn't materialize, then you lose a lot of money, you lose a lot of time, right? So you come in with a very basic product, but it is a minimum viable product that you come up with. We can book a ride, we can collect payment. It's just not It's just not electronic payment, but we can still collect payment, right? And then we can collect electronic payment electronically, but just not within the app. So, for example, if the driver picks you up today in Liberia and drops you to your destination, and you don't have cash, well, you're right there with the driver. You ask them, you got a mobile, or even before you leave, because you can call you can call the driver before the driver even gets to you. So once the ride is confirmed, and you as a rider, you don't have cash on you, you can ask, hey, Mr. XYZ, do you have a mobile money account, because I don't have cash? And if they say yes, then that's fine. They come and pick you up. When you get there, you just pay them through their mobile money account. So you're still paying them. You're not dealing in cash from that standpoint, right? You're just not paying them through the app. And then, of course, the other way is to pay them with cash directly, right? But once we begin to see traction, once we begin to see participation, once we begin to see that the Liberians are responding positively to this, then we make more investments into implementing electronic payments, right? So mobile pay and credit card payment. Ultimately, that's where it's going to be. But it all depends on how the market responds to this minimum viable product that we have out there for now. Make sense?
Great.
It makes a lot of sense, but I don't know how you get paid. Do you get paid? Because
yeah, interesting. Yeah, you're right. So
because all this work you're doing, I don't know. I might be wrong. Cash transaction, the driver takes the money, but the driver in return give you something.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you get paid?
Yes, sir. Another great question. So the way we will get paid. So, and this is after the what is it? After the promo period. So after the launch, 3 months after launch, anything the driver makes is 100% theirs on the platform. 3 months for the first 3 months after June. It's promotional period. Anything they make is 100% theirs. After that, then we take a certain percentage, a small percentage. And the way it's going to work again for this first minimum viable product is that when the driver works throughout the week, because again, we can see how much they're making. From the back end, I can see how many trips they made, how much each trip costs, so I can make my own calculation, right? And then I will send them a communication with how much total money they're supposed to pay us. We will have a bank account in Liberia once we launch, and then they will go over there at the end of the week, deposit of that amount in that account. That's how we get paid during this first phase. Now, once we do a new release where we've incorporated credit card payments and mobile pay payments, then we'll mathematically collect that electronically. So before the driver even receives his money, we'll take our money out and just give him what he's supposed to get. And then that will cut down the whole,
And to add up to what he just said with regards to the payment issue, I know that people say, it's not secure. Maybe the driver will not deposit that money. No, I mean, after the week when you should deposit, it's just like your phone bill. If the time goes, your phone off. So if you have that deposit, you're not going to get rides going on. Your app is going to be locked down until you do that. So it's easy for us. That's the reason why we think that everybody is responsible and they will take that action to be able to live with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. You need to make that very clear to the people. First 3 months free. Just use the service and make some money. Look, Ben,
and make some money, I
think you guys need to come back. That's a lot to talk about, Ben.
Absolutely, we will. We'll be glad.
We'll always be willing to come back.
We need to come back on this platform for us to discuss more, because there's a lot of the point that we really need to discuss. And just before we come to the end of this program, as we are about to wrap up now, I'm a little bit concerned about the legal aspect of what is happening. What are some of the legal steps that you guys have taken in terms of having this program registered in Liberia for operational purposes and things like that? So can you walk us a little bit on if you're having any challenges in that area, or what are some of the obstacles that you have encountered?
Well, so I've been doing some research on business registration in Liberia, and I know that there are 2 options mainly. They have a path for local Liberians registering a business versus a non-Liberian registering the business. So a foreign person registering the business. So we've been debating, because YIBA is going to be a subsidiary of ZIThan technologies in Liberia. So we've been debating whether it makes sense to have it locally or to have it registered on a local um, entity, on a local one of our local leaders, right? A Liberian wanted to do that because that is the most cheapest. That's the cheapest option, really, really cheap. Or should we go ahead and just yeah, excuse me, and just eat the cost now and register it as a foreign register it with foreign ownership,
Okay.
meaning owned by ZIThan Technologies, right? So we've been thinking about that. It makes sense business wise right now because there's no cash coming in from the business. Everything is coming out of pocket, right? It makes sense for me to go the Liberian route, have one of our leaders in Liberia to be the officer registering the business. But that's still up in the air because I've been thinking about it. I'm thinking about the legal issues that you raised. I don't want to have a problem trying to change that later, and then I'm having difficulty. So right now, as we speak, um, registering as a foreign individual is I think $900, almost $1,000. So maybe I might just eat that cost and do that when I get there. But it will be registered before launch. That's for sure. So we're gonna make sure we register before launch. So legally, we will be legal to do business in Liberia from that point onwards.
That is great. Thank you so much. With that being
Yes,
said,
sir.
I have a question on the show here from one of our listening audience. That's Counselor
Mhm.
T. Damasius Sisi. He said,
Uh-huh.
nice idea, Mr. Khalid, but Liberia has road connectivity problems even in our city, Monrovia. There are always serious traffic conjunction. What advice do you have to share with our drivers and passengers to override those challenges? Any one of you can pick that up.
Yeah, let me start with that.
Okay.
I mean, that's a
Hey, man,
that's a
let's go ahead.
reality. Hello, are you getting me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
go
hear
ahead.
you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. That's a reality, Mr. Sisi. And obviously, is that going to be a stumbling block because the traffic has different flows and the traffic has a different time. There's a peak time within the traffic. There are other times that now what we are talking about is something that's going to be happening 24/7. Sometimes we are even sleeping when people are catching their rides. People are coming from the entertainment center, they are catching their rides. So frankly, they're going to be using currently the same route that other vehicles will use. The only difference is you have access to this vehicle that is going to take you very close to your home or to your home, other than a vehicle that is going to put you down on the main street where you have to get maybe another bike to get in or somewhere else. But once you have access to road within the area, we're going to work within the road map. In terms of the traffic conjunction and other things I would think about, yes, we don't think it's always going to be happening because the time of our schedules is not going to be a regular one to say, okay, yeah, it's early in the morning, this is going to happen. People have different ways to interact. We know that difficulties are there, and we believe we'll cross it with time because as our road connections are getting developed, definitely the access to areas will also be cool. The access to areas will be clear, and we'll move along with it. But it's an issue that is a national issue, and that those are some of the things we are trying to fix by bringing other means and alternative to transportation.
Great. And here's one also from the same person, that is Councilor Sisi. This goes directly to Mr. Mulbah. And it says, Mr. Mulbah, I am indeed proud of your achievement. You are truly a motivation for young people. However, what is your driving motivation in this network program you have developed? And what impact does it have on the remote parts of the global society? Do you care to make additional comment? I'm sure you might have made some comment on that as well, but do you care to make any additional comment on that, Mr. Modba?
Yes, sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks, Councilor Sisi, for those kind words. Yeah. So for me, the motivation is option. I'm a true believer in options, having multiple ways of doing the same thing, right? Because for me, options with more options comes true freedom, right? So providing a way for people to commute in Morovia without having to run in the streets to book a taxi or chase down a motorbike, walk in the rain to catch a car, all of that stuff, or be forced to riding, getting the rental car that costs so much. If I can find a different way that they can still move around at a little bit cheaper version and in a nice and comfortable style, then that's what my motivation is. That's what I want to provide, and I want to provide this for not just the big cities, but for every remote part of Liberia and the rest of the world. But my focus for now is Liberia, right? Every remote part of Liberia. Well, for that to happen, we have to have other things to also happen, right? Technology has to catch up with those remote parts of the of Liberia and the rest of the world. So as technology, as the honorable asked earlier about other cities in Liberia, as we spread and people start to buy in to this ride sharing concept, right? As we spread outside of Monrovia into other bigger cities, then we can also spread into those remote parts of Liberia. Because all again it takes is, do we have connectivity and do we have a driver that can fulfill a ride? And if we have huge participation in Monrovia and other big cities, then we will have the financial resources to have available drivers in remote parts of the country. Even if we don't have independent drivers signing up, because we have the financial ability, right? We have the financial strength. We can put cars everywhere in Nigeria that we want to, and have drivers working full time and paid, and have them salaried. So all their job is to just run the Uber car in those remote parts of the country. That's my motivation. I want to give people freedom because I like freedom. Because for me, again, with freedom, I'm going to give people options. Because with options, multiple options comes through freedom, and that's what's driving all of this here. And of course, ultimately, I want to make money too, right? I want financial freedom. So money is a driving motivation too. I will be lying to you if I said that's not part of the motivation. But ultimately, it's providing people a service that they enjoy, and if that return, that in turn provides some financial benefit to me, then I've achieved my goals. Thanks for the question.
Great. Gentlemen, it was a very great time having you guys on this forum. And just before you guys come with your closing comment, I want to turn the floor over to my colleague, Mr. Pablo Solomon Fasa. Solo, are you there?
I'm here. I
Okay.
just want to go to, maybe let me go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, parting comment, then I come to the CEO.
Definitely. Like I said from the beginning, Liberians and those that are watching, have the spirit and mindset of investing, have the spirit and mindset of testing things, try to make use of opportunities. Opportunity comes, try to grab it and see what stands in it for you. How do you benefit from it? So Yiba Liberia is for Liberians. And so let Liberians and those who reside in Liberia make maximum use of these assets, because it is only the opportunity we have now, and we can make this work together for every Liberian. So I would say to you, test, and I will say to you, invest. Thank you.
Great. Well, Zina?
Yes, sir.
Your parting comments. Maybe you got something to say that we did not talk about tonight?
Well, I think we covered everything. I just want to again, reiterate this. I want to say thanks to you guys. You and Brother Ben have been great. This is the first opportunity for us to get our voice out there to a larger audience. Thanks for having us. I look forward to more opportunities to appear here and continue to spread the message, spread the word. You guys were awesome. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Now, as far as, my closing, Liberians, if you look at the name of the app, it's Yiba Liberia, right? It's not Yiba Sierra Leone. It's not Yiba Ghana. It's not Yiba Guinea. It's Yiba Liberia. That means it is for you. Let's embrace it. Like Emmanuel said, let's try it out. Let's check it out. Let's give it a chance. This is going to transform the way we move around in Liberia. I truly mean this. This is not no hot air I'm blowing. I've invested time and money into this thing. If I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't be doing that. I believe this is going to be the future of how we move around in Liberia. So let's embrace it, because it's going to require all of us embracing it and trying it out and getting on it to actually reap the benefit. If we don't embrace it, then all of the great ideas goes to waste. So let's embrace it. Let's give it a chance. Let's make ourselves proud so that when people come to Liberia from other countries, I had a friend, I had a young lady that I just recruited as part of the marketing team in Liberia that we're trying to build. And you know, as I'm usually doing, sending out text to, you know, to people about the app, download it, it's a great app. And she responded to me, she's like, this thing in Liberia? I said, yes. She said, wow. So she quickly installed it, and then she called me. She said, I didn't know this thing was here. I said, yeah, we just launched it. She said, yeah, I was in Ghana the other day. I used Uber there. So you see, our friends in Ghana already have Uber, but they also have local competition. So the reality is Uber is going to move all over Africa pretty soon. We need to embrace what we have, and we need to allow ourselves to grow something that is owned by us, not by the
God, you are the
corporations of the West.
most. Hallowed be thy name.
So that's it. Thank you, Chief. That's it. Let's embrace it. Let's make Yiba. Let's make Yiba the next Uber of Africa. And
Thank
it
you
starts
so
with
much.
Liberia.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Make
Thank you, sir.
Cuba, Liberia, the next Cuba of Liberia. That's
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Zina Mulbah, and we also have with us
Some shows us today.
and this is
If
how
you
we
will see
go.
what my
And we'll be
best
doing our
days
feast about the
what I
world.
miss you on
I hope you guys will meet us back during your lunch. We will do some more prosperity. Until
We
then, we'll
will.
be back on Sunday. Thank you so much for being part of us.
Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
night
Thank
from
you.
now on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Respect.
You are the most.